Hey everyone, this is Todd La Torre from Queensrÿche, and you're listening to Ray and Steve on the I Remember Now podcast.
Lashes, lashes, carving the skin, silence those who will speak. Turn up the juice or hang by the noose they gather as torture begins. Kill the Gentile, the book tells me so. Prepare to be stoned for your sins. Segregate, indoctrinate, elusive free will. Strap her up and move in for the kill. Wow, those are some pretty intense lyrics. And no, we're not doing another Accept episode, but we are diving deep into Todd La Torre's equally intense 2021 solo album, Rejoice in the Suffering. This one's dark, this one's heavy, this is going to be one hell of a ride, and this is I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche podcast. This is one of your hosts, Ray, and really happy to be back with you today, wherever you may be, whatever time you may be listening. And let me bring in my co-host, Mr. Steve Wright. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm okay, man. How are you? Good to be here today. Good to be back in the saddle again here. And looks good out there today. Not too bad.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Western Pennsylvania. A beautiful morning. The sun is rising, and it's cold, but it's supposed to be in the 50s, I think, today, so not too bad. But no, things are good. It's been a good, solid week, and just came off a vacation a couple weeks ago and feeling good, and raring to roll. Glad we're back in the saddle getting to do an episode.
Yeah, it looks like you guys had a nice cruise there.
We did. It was the first one. We finally took the plunge, did the cruise thing, and I tell you, I don't know that I will ever go on another vacation other than cruises because it was just perfect.
It's great.
Dude, it really is.
Wait till we get you on the Monsters of Rock cruise. Then you'll never want to go on a regular cruise.
I don't know about that. No, it was just such a nice change to like a normal vacation, like where you go somewhere and, stay in a hotel and just do this and that. Like you can do... Not I'm telling you anything you don't know, but like you can just do as much as you want to do on any given day or as little as you want to do on any given day or a mixture of the two. And it's just an amazing experience, man. The cruise ship was phenomenal. We were on the Celebrity Eclipse. We've already booked our next one for July. So I have a feeling that we're going to become cruisers. It was just a phenomenal time. Best vacation I've ever had in my entire life. So looking forward to the next one. But we'll see about that Monsters of Rock thing one of these days.
Yeah, we're sailing in I think it's like 2 weeks, I think it is. So we're looking forward to that. We have everything booked. We're hoping that we can get through security within, like good 3 hours, but we're looking forward. We were talking about it last night. We went out to see Chris's band last night, so it was me, Richie, BC, and Chris and Chris's girlfriend Pam. So we were, kind of getting our ducks in a row with our transportation to the airport and stuff. So we're definitely looking forward to it. Always a good time. Always a good time. Queensrÿche will be out there, of course. See both of their shows on the ship, and it's going to be interesting to see what they play. So,
what cruise line is Monsters of Rock on?
It's on Norwegian now. The other ones we went on, they were always on Royal Caribbean until last year. Last year was the first time with Norwegian.
Okay. Which Royal Caribbean, I think, is a sister company of Celebrity, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're the same company, just different lines. But it was a blast, man. And the ship we're on in July is like brand new. It's called the Beyond. I think it's one of the newer ships in the fleet. I think it did its first voyage in 2023. So looking forward to that too. We did like one of the tour videos online. It looks amazing. So
it's crazy. It's just a fun vacation. You eat at the buffet. Then there's a ton of restaurants in the ship, and then you get off at the ports. It's good. It's just a good time. And people like my two kids. They're like, why don't I'm like, I'll pay for it. I don't care. Why don't we all go on a cruise? And they do not want to go. Neither one of them. And I'm like so surprised by that. But they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, I was like that my whole life. I was like, I don't know. It's just the whole thought of being in the middle of the ocean with all these people. And like, I don't know that I would like that. And I'll tell you what, I wish I would have started doing it 20 years ago because it's freaking amazing. But
you don't even, unless you hit like bad weather or something like that, you don't even know you're on the ship. You're just it's like a floating hotel.
Yeah, and I think that was part of the good experience was that we had really smooth sailing the whole time. Like I felt the ship move maybe 4 times in 6 days, and it was just very slight. But yeah, that my wife is retired Navy, so she didn't really want to go on the ocean again for a long time. But then she has a good friend that her and her husband are cruisers, and they've been trying to get us to go. So we finally gave it a shot, and now we are both kicking ourselves. We haven't been doing it all along, but live and learn. You know what they say.
You can make up for lost time.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we should probably get into some content here. So as we move into this episode, let's go back in time a little bit. We're going to do some feedback, some calls and stuff on the last episode, which was our Accept kind of Queensrÿche adjacent episode that we did. We did the top 5 Udo songs and top 5 Mark era songs for Accept. And it was a lot of fun. So what would you think, Steve?
Actually, before I get started, I just want to say thank you to Gary, Marvin, and Tim for. I want to say thank you to everybody for their condolences and calls and visits and texts and smoke signals and telegrams and every kind of communication that's out there for condolences for the passing of my mom. Actually, it's a week ago. Today. Just thank you, everybody. You guys did an awesome memorial tree planting for my mom, and I got so many, just condolences and calls and texts and everything like that, and I really super appreciated it. I love you guys, and it's just super nice of you. I got so many calls and texts from just listeners from this podcast and from Powder Than Hell, and it's just amazing the amount of awesomeness out there of everybody, whether it be from friends here or online or everything like that. So I just want to say thank you before we get rolling into it. So once again, thank you, everybody. Love you guys. Totally appreciate it. And
you're very, very welcome. I know what that's like. Just went through it myself a few years ago. And, unfortunately, we're at that point in our lives when we're getting into our, mid to upper 50s. Yeah. It's just a part of life. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how prepared you are. It never gets any easier, and it sucks. And we're all one big family, man. Between the group that we have on our chat group with all the asylum listeners and the listeners we have in our audience, and just you and I have gotten to know each other, and this whole kind of podcasting community, especially like the music podcasting community, is very. I wouldn't say tight-knit because we don't all know each other, but we all support each other. There's not like any like rivalries or any of that kind of shit. It's just everybody wants everybody to succeed and everybody cares about one another. And, it was a pleasure to be able to do that for your mom. So, again, our condolences on your loss. And if there's anything we can do, let us know.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay. I almost said last week. Last time we did the Accept episode, we did our top 10 of Udo tracks, and we did our top 5 of Mark tracks. It was fun to do that, to kind of, branch out a little bit, because, like you said, you alluded to on the last episode that we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit and do a couple different things with a couple different bands, just to kind of mix it up and, step outside of the Queensrÿche zone. But it will always in some way or another be, Queensrÿche involved somehow, tangentially or however. And so we did the first one of that. We did the Accept episode. It was fantastic. And I'm so glad, Ray, that you finally listened to me and checked out the new stuff with Mark. And when we get into the calls, a couple of our listeners are going to, express that as well. And just a fun episode. I'm still semi-binging on Accept, whether it be, Udo stuff or Mark stuff. And actually, one of our callers alluded to, there is one other Accept singer, David Reese, that the album, I think, is Eat the Heat, that we didn't really talk about. So maybe one of these times we'll have to just kind of give that a listen and just kind of give a quick thoughts about it at some point or another. And I have heard the album before, and there is some really good stuff on there. And I just didn't even think of it when we were doing the episode, but it was a fun one. I super enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm still semi-binging on them, and it was a good one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And actually, I'm not going to say anything more because there's some more feedback coming in our calls that we'll get into a lot more stuff. So without further ado, let's listen to our first phone call. from our good friend and partner, producer Tim.
Hello, my Timians. Whew. Hold on. My head is still hurting from all the Canada Rob Mathings. Oh. My favorite Olympic sport, and I know it's cliche, but I love it, is curling. I can watch that for hours, and sometimes I do. However, I didn't see any of the Olympics this year. I just didn't have time for it. Ray, on feeling bad after being critical of your favorite band or artist, no matter how deserved it may be, I think this is my take anyway. You spend years defending them. And when you have to say something that is negative or less than flattering about them, you feel like you're betraying that artist. Or you feel like you're proving the naysayers right. I hate talking bad about Kiss, even though they give us or gave us plenty to be negative about. So I get it, but it's normal to feel that way. At least I think so. That plinking part you hear in Princess of the Dawn, those are called staccato notes. I also think on the album that's a keyboard and not only guitar. It may be doubled. I loved the ode to Ludwig van in Metal Heart. That is Beethoven's Fair Elise that Wolf is playing. He's paying homage to there before that lone solo. And Ray, I have to say, you should be able to say the Scorpions as long as Steve continues to say balls to the walls. It's a singular wall. It's not balls to the walls. It's balls to it's singular. And before I got to your comments about Motley Crue's Use It or Lose It, I kept saying to myself, that sounds like Crue ripped this off. Crue had to have ripped this off. And then you said it. And before I got to your comments, when I was installing Kool-Aid into the episode, I thought to myself, this has to be about Jonestown because it is a common misconception that it was Kool-Aid. And yes, that is, as Ray said, where the idiom drinking the Kool-Aid comes from. I kept saying to myself, it was Flavor-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid. Man, Kool-Aid got a bad rap. Then you both said what I said, except you didn't say Flavor-Aid. To be fair, Jim Jones and his people did keep Kool-Aid in the pantry in the beginning, but the more foreigners came along, Flavor-Aid was a staple in the UK before that, and it was cheaper than Kool-Aid. Oh, no! Okay, great lists. We listened to Balls to the Wall on Asylum. It was, I think, an opening act. And really, that's the extent of my knowledge on them. But I really liked what I heard on here. Both eras, both Udo and Mark, I think. Once I get through listening to the current audiobook that I'm listening to and the albums that I'm trying to be vigilant on or do my due diligence on for the 1982 grading coming up, which does include Restless and Wild, I may have to give a listen to some, a little deep dive. I dug it. And now that episode was over 3 hours and I'm just now publishing it. So I'm going home. That exhausted me. I got it. Just turn the motherfucking current on.
All right, so Tim, as always, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate all you do for us and for being an active participant in the show. Curling, really, dude? That's your favorite Olympic sport? I mean, I get it, I guess, but like, of all the cool sports in the Winter Olympics, curling, the one where they like sweep the ice, it's like shuffleboard on ice. I just don't get that as a favorite sport. But I did appreciate the comments because I was kind of bumming about how mean we were to Tribe a couple episodes ago. Tim talking about, you have that feeling that you're betraying your favorite artist, or the even better point, you're proving the naysayers right, because that era of Queensrÿche takes a lot of shit from people, and I've always been a bigger fan of that kind of middle career era than a lot of fans are. So I did feel bad for kind of trashing that album, but deservedly so. I think it's just not very good. But I did appreciate Tim's kind of the way he phrased that about you feel like you're proving the naysayers right, which I think that might have been part of my problem why I was feeling the way I was. Yeah, Tim once again proving his how artsy and cultured he is by pulling out the Beethoven reference for Wolf Hoffman and Metal Heart. He also did call you out on something, Steve, that it was driving me nuts while we were recording the episode, but I didn't do it because I don't like to do that on the air. But you were calling the album Balls to the Walls, which was making me nuts the entire time because there's no S at the end of wall.
I don't remember saying that at all.
You said it like 5 or 6 times.
Fuck.
I was like,
Really?
what is he doing? But
Really, that's so unlike me. Because
I know.
BC does shit like that on Potter Than Hell, and it drives me nuts. And Dylan and I are always looking at one another. I don't remember, but I do know that it is Balls to the Wall. WALL, no plural. God, I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, you did
Maybe it was just
the
my
entire show.
excitement. Did I really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Well, I apologize. It is. I do know that it is Balls to the Wall. WALL, no S. Wow. Because when he said that, I'm like, what? I just didn't feel like going back to listen to it again. But
because you made the comment that
my bad.
I should be able to call them the Scorpions as long as you call it Balls to the Walls, which made me laugh.
Wow, I feel like an idiot now.
And to kind of piggyback on something you said earlier about getting into the newer Accept and the whole catalog of Accept, Tim really enjoyed the music that we picked from the last episode, and he has done like a total deep dive, starting all the way at the beginning and going all the way to the end of the Accept catalog, which he had never done before. I don't think he'd ever listened to any of the newer stuff before, and had very limited exposure to the older material. But he is really been on an Accept bender since we did that episode, and he came to the conclusion that Mark, he sent me a text that said Mark with the greater than sign Udo, so he's a bigger fan of Mark than the Udo era, which I got to be honest, man, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think the last 5 albums they've done with Mark are as good or better than the early stuff, and it really is kind of a band with 2 different eras, and while they have a very distinct sound, there is a difference between the two, and I think Mark is the better singer of the two. You can always go back to just what you grew up with or what you came on board with, and that's why you like Udo better. But judging the two of them as vocalists, I think Mark is better, and I think the material front to back on the albums is as good or better now on the most recent ones. But I
think the production has a lot to do with it.
Yes, 100%. Production is top notch on every one of their later albums for sure. But you had mentioned Eat the Heat, and Tim had mentioned that during his discussion of his deep dive, and said that he really liked that album, and gave props to the singer whose name I don't remember. You just mentioned it a few minutes ago. David Reese. But and I honestly had never listened to that album before. It was like no Udo, I don't really care. Then I got into the Mark stuff and just never really went back to it. So I did go back to it since our last episode, and I didn't like it at all. I thought they really changed their sound. They really went like for a hair metal sound, I think, as opposed to the Accept sound. Like everything to me that makes them Accept was kind of missing on that album. Number one, the vocals sounded weird because it wasn't like an Udo or a Mark style vocalist. It wasn't bad. I mean, he was a good singer. It just didn't fit the Accept that I know and love. And then there was just no riffs. It wasn't like they weren't like the riff masters like they are on every album. It was just very kind of pop centered, and I just didn't like it. There was a couple decent songs on it, but I listened to it once, and I think that was enough. I don't know that I ever need to go back to that one again.
You know what it's like, that album? It's like Motley Crue 94.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not like it's a good album, but it's not a good Motley Crue album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see that.
It's a good album, but it's not a good Accept album because it's just it's so different. And there's a couple bands out there that like that, but
It just doesn't sound like Accept.
yeah, like if you said, "Hey, listen to this band," guess who it is? You would never in a million years say this is Accept.
Correct. And I think that's why it didn't grab me. But anyway, what do you got on Tim's call?
Tim, thanks for calling. Glad that we could get you to do a deep dive in there. And I'm kind of with Tim on the curling. I enjoy the hell out of watching that.
Really?
More over watching the women doing it than the guys doing it. But
Gee, I wonder why.
It's probably, I know, it's probably what I watched the most of, because that was on the Olympics around when we had like snow days, and I think we were off for President's Day when that was going on. And I remember the one day, I want to say it was President's Day, and we were watching my nephew for the day, and he's like, "Uncle Steve, can we watch curling if it's out of the Olympics?" I'm like, "Sure, buddy." And we watched it for like 3 hours. And here's an 8-year-old kid, watching curling, and but it was cool. I mean, I like like we talked about before, the high action sports like the luge and the skeleton and downhill and stuff like that. But the curling is good. So good job, Tim. And thank you, Tim. Flavor Aid was the drink of choice for the Jonestown
Don't
massacre.
drink the Flavor Aid. It just doesn't go as well.
I really enjoyed his turn the current on this one too. So
Yeah, it
good
was
job.
a little different. It was just kind of mellow and almost sounded like he was ready to fall asleep.
That's what I got for Tim.
All right. Let's move on. Our next call from our good friend Jim from Irwin.
Hey, this is Jim from Irwin calling in for the I Remember Now Queensrÿche podcast. Hey, Ray, Steve, I really loved you guys branching out into the world of Accept. Thought the episode was very good. And, for me, basically, my jumping on point for Accept, believe it or not, was really with the Blood of Nations with Mark Tornillo. I did, of course, know Balls to the Wall, but I don't ever recall hearing any other song or singing any other song in heavy video rotation. So for whatever reason, I never got into Accept back in the day. But starting with the Tornillo era, top 5 songs that I would have on my list right now, and they're all albums with him are very good. I would go with, in that particular, I'm going to actually go in this order: Blood of Nations, title track, Hung, Drawn, and Quartered, Dying Breed, Life's a Bitch, which was released as a standalone single, I believe, and Nobody Gets Out Alive from the last album. And, they were phenomenal in concert when we got to see them in October. Their riffs and stage presentation is really good. I really like them. As far as the Udo era, I've really taken a deep dive back into that era, going back to those early albums, as well as some of the Udo solo stuff too, which is another street to go down. But anyway, as far as the Udo era goes, and leaving out Balls to the Wall because we all know that's just an all-time classic song, the songs that I picked for my list would be Starlight, Fast as a Shark, Losers and Winners, Metal Heart, and TV War from the Russian Roulette album, which came out in '86, I believe. So, I really enjoyed the trip into the early Accept years, and really been binging out a lot. Hasn't left my playlist much lately. So anyway, that's where I'm at in regards to Accept. A great episode. Can't wait to hear what you guys do next. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, Jim, as always, thanks for calling in. Thanks for supporting the show. Glad to hear you loved the Accept episode. And we did get a lot of positive feedback on this episode. I was a little worried because you never know, like when you branch out and do something different, if your audience is going to go along with you or not. It's like, Accept doing Eat the Heat, doing something totally different. But seemed like for the majority of listeners, the feedback was very positive. I thought it was interesting that Jim, his jumping on point for Accept was Blood of the Nations, which I don't know that I've ever met anybody that's their jumping on point for Accept. Usually it's the old school people that, came along for the ride once they made the changes. But I thought that was pretty cool to be a kind of a new Accept fan and then going backwards to the classic catalog. And Jim, thanks for sharing your top 5s from the era. I think you had a lot of great songs in there. Of course, Losers and Winners with the Right to Letta, You'll Feel Better, which I can't stop laughing about. And he also mentioned TV Wars off of Russian Roulette, which that's a really good song. I've given Russian Roulette a little more love over the last couple of weeks because I hadn't really dug into that one as much as I've dug into some of the other ones. And it's a lot better than I remember it being.
Yeah, Jim, thanks for calling. Always cool to hear from you. Yeah, I for as big of a music fan that Jim is, that, you know, he's in our Asylum text group, and how did he never see Accept? They opened for fucking everybody back
especially
in the day.
Pittsburgh.
Like, how did you miss these guys? Glad you're on board now, though, and you couldn't have come in on a better start than these guys, and hopefully we were a little catalyst to get that kind of moving for you. But always cool to hear from you, and we appreciate the call.
All right, cool. Now let's hear from somebody from the homeland of Accept. We haven't heard from this guy in a while. He was supposed to be on with us a few episodes ago, but unfortunately had to cancel due to some issues, and we're going to have him on again at some point. But this is Henning from Germany, also known as the German.
Gentlemen, the German Henning here. Obviously, the Accept episode was epic, to say the least. And as a German, I just gonna throw in my point of view here. I saw Accept in '86 with Dublin opening up in Cologne. Accept were great. Dokken were not. George Lynch turned his back to the audience the entire time. So that was Russian Roulette and Under Lock and Key. And then I saw Accept again with a new singer at Sweden Rock, and they are just a freight train. I have to say, it's like the German version of AC/DC. And they are what I would consider the typical German heavy metal band, much more than Scorpions. Scorpions is a bit more loose, a bit more, I think, US orientated. I think they're not as tight. I saw them as well, and I worked for them as well. Except they just groove. It's like AC/DC. It's an unbelievable tight band, and I love them. I love Udo, and I love the whole band, and I know Wolf Hoffman pretty well, and he's great. And Peter Baltus, the bass player, I think is the best German heavy metal bass player, bar none. I think he's just awesome. I saw him in Los Angeles at the Whiskey for just some kind of jam session. He was just so tight, unbelievable. And I love them. And they're typical German. They are coming from Solingen, which is in the middle of Germany. It's like Birmingham, you know. It's a steel town, and Mike Wagner, actually, the producer, actually played with them, and I think he founded the band actually with Udo. And just great band. Saw them twice. They never disappoint. And for them, they are the typical and the best German heavy metal band, period.
So Henning, thanks for calling in, man. It's great to hear from somebody from the source country of the material we talked about last time. Glad that you thought the episode was epic. Glad we did it justice. He did mention he saw Accept in '86 with Dokken opening, which I thought was interesting because if that was in the U.S., it would have been the other way around in '86 for sure. What is with George Lynch turning his back to the audience? I've heard that multiple times. I've seen Dokken probably 5 times, and he was always fine. Like he's never real interactive with the crowd, but he didn't turn his back. But what is up with that? That is just so like unprofessional.
I'll get into that when I do my comments for it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just always, I've heard that from multiple people. It just blows me away that somebody of that stature would do that. I like the fact that he compared Accept to a freight train, because that's a really good comparison. That's what they remind you of. Like either get on board or get run over, with their music. And I also thought it was interesting that he said they are more representative of what German metal is than the Scorpions. which I would take Accept over Scorpions 100 out of 100 times. I'm not a big Scorpions guy. They're okay. I have like my little pocket of Scorpions that I like in the 80s, but I'm not really a fan of anything before that or after that. He also mentioned he knows Wolf Hoffman, so Henning, if you can hook us up, we'd love to have him on the show. Yeah, Henning's very connected in the music world. He worked for several different record labels over the years and has done a lot of work with artists, including Queensrÿche, which was one of the reasons why we wanted to have him on the show. And lastly, except being from, I forget the name of the town, but, a steel town in central Germany, and he compared that to Birmingham. It's like, what is it about steel towns that produce great metal bands? Like, is it just the blue collarness and the two of them kind of go hand in hand or what it is? But it does seem like every time there's a steel town in Europe, it just produces some fantastic metal bands. So I thought, overall, Henning, great call. Thanks for calling in, man. Always good to hear from you, and look forward to having you on the show at some point.
Yeah, Henning, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you again. And yeah, definitely hope to get you on at some point. Yeah, and it's funny that you did mention about Dokken, and I've seen George Lynch do the Back to the Audience. I've seen him do it twice, and both they weren't with Dokken though. They were Lynch Mob shows. It was weird. He played the one whole show he literally had his pedal board at the drum riser, and he played the whole show looking at Brian Tichy, and it looked like they were just like talking through the whole show.
So it's like a predetermined thing. It's not like I get out on stage and, I've got stage fright tonight, or I'm pissed off, so I'm going to turn my back. It's like I'm going to set my rig up so that I'm backwards to the audience.
Well, it was that night, and the other show on the Monsters of Rock Cruise, the pedal board was out front, so I don't know. And then another time we saw him, he literally just stood there. He had a trucker hat, that with the mesh in the back. He had that pulled right down to his eyes, and he just stood at his pedal board, head down the whole show. I don't think he moved within a 3-foot box of the whole show. Just really, I don't know if he's that much of a diva, so you can kind of see why him and Don Dokken don't get along, because they're probably, those egos just smashed into one another. But
yeah.
Always cool to hear from Henning, and worked for Scorpions for sure. That's cool. He said Peter Baltus is the best German bass player. I said it, I think, on the episode. There's the one song on the live Restless and Live, No Shelter, that Wolf and Peter Baltus come out on the I don't know, the ego stage or whatever the hell they call it out, and they just do this back and forth, and it is absolutely fantastic. So check that out, No Shelter. It's on Restless and Live. He said they're the German AC/DC, and I don't disagree with that. And like you said too, like a town that makes steel and metal. Metal makes metal, I guess. So
yeah,
Henning, always great to hear from you, buddy. Hope we get you on again, my friend. And always good to hear from you daily on the text group.
Yeah, they are. They're so much heavier than AC/DC, though. Like, I get the comparison.
Oh yeah,
they're ripped, but they're just such a different breed.
I think it's more of a. I don't think he means like sound wise. I think he just means like that they're the German band.
Right. Yeah, like AC/DC is
the German band,
the Australian band. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Henning. Appreciate it. Moving on, one of our favorite callers. Not that you're all our favorites, of course, but checks in from time to time. Let's hear from Angry Scott.
Good afternoon. This is for the Queensrÿche I Remember Now podcast. This is Angry Scott calling in. Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you so much for your episode starring Accept. And it was very cool. Top 5 songs from Accept. Such an underrated band, especially in their latter years. Last several albums with Mark on vocals, phenomenal. Live, phenomenal. Man, if anybody out there is not giving them a chance, you are truly missing out on some excellent albums. As you guys said, every album isn't a desert album island with Mark, but every album absolutely has some killer cuts on it. So here we go. Let's do this. I just came back from vacation, so I'm running a little behind on the podcast. I was driving today and put this together while I was driving. Top 5 songs from the Udo era. Let's start there. I went without the hits, nothing that's a single, I don't think, and tried to go with things that you didn't mention. So top 5, in no particular order. Living for Tonight, Metal Heart. My entry into Accept after Balls to the Wall. I did see them on this tour open for, I'm thinking Dio, possibly. Living for Tonight. Second track, Heaven is Hell from Russian Roulette. Such an evil, ominous, dark, brooding song. Totally awesome. Son of a Bitch from Breaker. I actually had vinyl of this when I was a kid and I hated it. As I got older in life, I learned to appreciate it. Great album. Son of a Bitch. Next up, you guys mentioned Stone Evil off Death Row, but you missed The Beast. The Beast off Death Row. What a killer song. Crank it up. Horns in the air. The Beast is an excellent song. And my honorable mentions. Oh, wait. I got one more from Balls to the Wall. You forgot Winter Dreams, the ballad. Such a great Udo vocal on that. Winter Dreams. Honorable mentions. Monster Man from Russian Roulette. I Don't Want to Be Like You from Objection Overruled. And Run Through the Night from Predator. Moving on to the Mark era. Top 5 in no particular order. Hellfire from Stalingrad. The Undertaker from Too Mean to Die. Straight Up Jack. This could have been an AC/DC song. What a great song. Not your typical, except good stuff. Straight Up Jack from Humanoid and Frankenstein from Humanoid. Last one from the Mark era. Where is it? The ballad. The Best Is Yet to Come. The Best Is Yet to Come. What a fucking great ballad. Absolutely better than The Ravages of Time. Honorable mentions. Man Up from Humanoid. Humanoid title track. Blood of the Nations title track. The Abyss from Blood of the Nations. Final Journey from Blind Rage. New World Comin' from Blood of the Nations. No One's Master from Too Mean to Die. And Analog Man from The Rise of Chaos. But oh, what's that? You left a singer out. Come on, man. David Reese, excellent album, Eat the Heat. 3 songs, honorable mentions in no particular orders. The first cut, Ecstasy, absolutely balls to the wall awesome. D-Train, another just kick-ass metal tune. And the only video released from the album, Generation Clash, which Udo did redo later in their career. All good stuff. That's a solid album and worth mentioning. David's still around today. Guys, have a great day. Angry Scott out.
So, Steve, even Angry Scott liked the Accept episode, so we must have done something right. I'll tell you what, had very high praise for the modern Accept, as all the callers have had so far.
Indeed.
It listed his top 5s. One song he brought up that I love is Winter Dreams off of Balls to the Wall. It's a ballad, but really, really well done. It's the album closer. Love that song. Also mentioned Straight Up Jack from the newer era. That was one of the tunes that they had played live when they opened for Queensrÿche. No, that is an AC/DC song. Like it literally sounds like an AC/DC song. Very different for Accept, but very good tune. It's a good one. It was actually on my short list of things to cut. Also mentioned Best Is Yet to Come, which is a great ballad from the modern era of Accept. As much of a ballad as an Accept song can be. Yeah, he also brought up Eat the Heat. Yeah, I just don't care for that album, but glad that Scott digs it. So, Scott, always great to hear from you, man. Scott also recently off a cruise. We are Facebook friends now, and he was posting a bunch of pictures, so we've been going back and forth about cruise stuff. So it's just amazing the connections you make doing these shows, you know. It's incredible to have, people you consider friends all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah, Angry Guy Scott, always cool to hear from you. Yeah, I like the listing. I cannot disagree with any of the songs you gave on list for Mark or Udo. Always cool to hear from Scott. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Scott is like a roller coaster fanatic. I think him and his wife go to all different amusement parks. I want to say he was doing some in Europe and stuff like that. See, I've been Facebook friends with him for several years on Facebook, and I didn't realize that Angry Guy Scott was, I won't say his last name. Angry Guy Scott was this Scott that I've been friends with. And then it kind of, I'm like, oh my God, that's him. Always good to hear from him. And yeah. And let's see if there was one song out here that the only song that I disagreed with Scott was The Best Is Yet to Come from the Mark List. I think that's terrible.
So I like that one.
But everything else though, like in one also to The Abyss from Blood of the Nations. Oh my God, that song is fucking awesome. He has Heaven is Hell from the Udo list. Son of a Bitch. That just missed my list. And The Beast from is that from Death Row, or I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, that's one I wasn't. I had to go back and listen to that one. I wasn't familiar with that one.
Really good. Yeah, there's some really good stuff on that. So, Angry Guy Scott, he was not angry on this one, and he was Happy Guy Scott on this one. Thanks again, Scott. Definitely appreciate it. Roller coaster season's coming too. So
yeah.
Well, unless you're Florida or wherever, you can go on anytime. But like
he's in Chicago, so his roller coaster season
upper hemisphere
is pretty short.
Yeah. So thanks again, Scott. Totally appreciate it.
And last but not least, of course, our good friend Jim from Alabama.
Hello, I remember now, the Queensrÿche podcast. Ray, Steve, producer Tim. This is Jim from Alabama, and it would certainly be within my character or my MO to say something totally campy and corny like, I have to accept the fact that I love this badass band Accept. But I got to tell you, episode 45, your latest episode, I remember now, the Queensrÿche podcast, covering that Queensrÿche adjacent band Accept. Wow. Blew me away, man. Now, back in the early to mid-'80s, I had the Balls to the Wall cassette. But truly, I think that I was more distracted with bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. And even in '83, Kiss put out another Harder Edge album by the name of Lick It Up. And Accept got by me like a ground ball, And I'm so mad at myself because they're such a badass band. And I really dig these latest albums that have come out with Mark Tonello behind the mic. Now, you can't call him the new guy because he's been there 16 years or so with Accept, but dude, I mean, allow me to rattle off these records. Blood of the Nations, Stalingrad, freaking awesome. Blind Rage, The Rise of Chaos, Too Mean to Die, Humanoid, and the album covers are just beyond belief. So I'll try to make this brief. Ray, I know you mentioned you weren't too overly impressed with The Rise of Chaos, but truly, different strokes for different folks. Truly, that's one of my favorites. Die by the Sword. I picture that as being like being played during a space battle scene on some type of science opera movie, Star Wars or something like that. Good space battle. Hole in the Head, second song. Opening lyrics say, I need you like a prison term. I mean, how cool is that? Now, I get where you're going with the song Kool-Aid. But I really don't take that as much as a documentary history of Jim Jones and Jonestown and what happened with the Kool-Aid back in 1978. I take that more as a philosophy, if you want to get philosophical here. In other words, be your own person, don't just fall for any old shit that's being thrown out there. And I think it's a very cool tune. But I'll wrap it up by saying, Accept, they freaking rule, man. They are good to go. And I am appreciative for you guys turning me on to their music because they kick ass. I've never seen them in concert. But you can bet your I remember now that if they're ever in the area, I will go. I will go. I'm impressed. Great show, man. Thank you so much.
So Jim giving us even more love for the Accept episode. I'm shocked that he said Accept got by him in 83, and he just has kind of also been one of those later arriving fans. Jim is like a big-time music fan. He's into a lot of stuff, and for a band to have escaped his radar is shocking, but glad that he is on board now. Glad he enjoyed the episode. He sent some pictures of him with some vinyl that he bought. He bought a couple copies of some of the newer Accept albums, so he's really done a deep dive and really gotten into it as well. And I think that wasn't just because of our episode, but I think we kind of helped him along. Thought he had interesting thoughts on the Kool-Aid song. It might not be like a literal translation, even though, the story is pretty literal in the lyrics. But yeah, I get that. I actually made me think a little bit more about that song after hearing Jim's call. So Jim, glad you're on board with Accept. And just to clarify, I didn't say I don't like the Rise of Chaos. I just said that it's very good, but of the newer Accept albums, it's probably my least favorite, but it's still a rock solid, really good metal album. So didn't want you to think I didn't like it. So what do you think about Jim's call?
Well, Ray, let me tell you, it just like popped into my head thinking about this, the calls that we got. 2 of the, I don't know, what did we get, 5 calls that we got proves that we are doing our job properly, that we were able to get someone to check something out and enjoy it that we do that they have not checked out before. The 2 gems, actually, J-I-M and J-E-M, and always cool to hear from Jim from Alabama, too. Great guy, just fun guy. I can't wait to someday meet him in person, and all of our callers, actually. But Jim, he's, like I said, I love his videos. He does the entrance videos like at work and shit like that. Absolutely just kill me every time.
He has like a whole production team that helps him with that, I think. He's got like a videographer and a sound guy. And
they're going to be very sad there when he retires.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But it's so cool to hear that he's getting into them and checking them out and supporting them too, buying the albums. Every little bit helps for these bands because they're not making that's why these bands never stop touring. They're not making the money on record sales anymore. For the most part on record sales anymore. It's touring, but all the artists that I like, I was totally anti-streaming for a long time. Now I do it because it's convenient, but I still support the bands that I love in buying their product, going to their shows, buying the shirt. And so it's good to hear that we're properly doing our job, that we're getting someone, some of our listeners to check out something that they had not checked out before. And always great to hear from everybody. Thanks. Always awesome to hear from you guys.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I nothing makes me happier than when somebody sends a message or calls in and says, "Hey, I checked this out because of your show." I don't say that's what our mission is, but we want to make sure that that what we're talking about connects with people, and maybe it gives you the opportunity to give a shot to something that you might otherwise not have done. And I know I've done it myself. Like I've listened to pod like your show and other podcasts. Like one of the things I look forward to most, because I don't do a lot of new music like you guys do, is your year-end episodes where you give like your top 10 albums of the year, because then I'm like, oh, I'm going to write all these down and go back and listen to them. And that's stuff I would have never listened to before, unless it was like a new Megadeth or new Maiden or something like that. I'm going to listen to a new album by a band I already like, but I'm not going to be listening to some of the like Crowbots and all that shit you guys talk about on your show. But then I go back and listen to it. It's like really good stuff. So
you mean you're not buying the latest Crash Diet album?
No, not as of yet. No.
It's good though.
But yeah, and that's I love that when listeners call in or send me a DM on Facebook or on X saying hey, I never listened to any of the Todd La Torre albums. I had no interest until I heard you guys review Condition Human, and I went back and listened to it, and now I love it. It's just really makes you feel good, to know that you're able to impact someone's life in some small way, even if it's just by checking out a record you've never checked out before. So, but yeah, thanks everybody for calling in. We really appreciate the phone calls. If you would like to join us, you can give us a call at 336-422-6756. 888-848-6862. You can leave a voicemail on that number. Just identify yourself as calling for our show, because that line serves as a call-in line for all the shows on the TLD network. You can also just record a MP3 voice note on your phone, turn it into an MP3, email it to us. And the email address is feedback@iremembernowpodcast.com. So we love hearing from you, however you want to get it to us. You can also just send us an email. You can DM us. You can comment on social media, however you want to get in touch. We love the interaction with the audience and love to hear everybody's opinions. So please keep it up. All right. We are already getting pretty deep into this show, and we haven't even mentioned our main topic yet, other than in the intro. So we are going to be talking about and doing our normal review and deep dive into not a Queensrÿche album, but a very Queensrÿche adjacent album. This is going to be the episode on Rejoice in the Suffering, the solo record released by Todd La Torre. Steve, you want to kind of go through some basic facts about the album and maybe talk a little about the album cover and the packaging and all that stuff, since I know you have a copy of it right there in your hands.
Yeah, Todd La Torre, Rejoice in the Suffering. Actually, I did the pre-order for this album when I saw it was coming out. It was recorded when he was during COVID, when they were kind of on a hiatus and doing stuff, and he recorded it with his good friend Craig Blackwell. He plays all the guitars, he plays everything on there except for the drums, pretty much. And there's a couple guests on a couple of the songs, but nothing major. So it's pretty much just Craig Blackwell and Todd La Torre. Todd playing the drums on this one. Yeah, and also, The Verdict, Todd played drums on that as well. So Todd was, he's got his chops up, so I'm sure he plays all the time, because I've seen Todd play on Monsters of Rock Cruise. They do like an all-star band type thing like every year, and I've seen him play a couple songs on drums, and it's like wow, like if he ever decided to leave Queensrÿche or just totally go out on his own or do a tour, he could easily be the drummer of any band, because he's
really
we get
good
into the songs, the drum is fucking awesome. So yeah, it came out on February 5th, 2021. Like I said, it was recorded during COVID, and the album proper is 44 minutes and 35 seconds, but it's like almost an hour, 58 minutes with the bonus tracks that are on there. I remember I picked this up. I have the vinyl copy right here, the hype sticker on it, collector's edition, all new release, Todd La Torre, Rejoice in the Suffering. The all new release from Queensrÿche's Todd La Torre, deluxe edition, double white vinyl with 3 bonus tracks, English lyrics, Japanese lyrics, a download card, and mastered for vinyl. And and I love when bands do this. Like, they'll say limited edition, only like 1,000 copies printed or whatever. But this one actually has the number. My print number is 958. So I'm not really sure how many they did, but I like sometimes bands will say, limited to, 600 copies or something like that, but you never get what number your copy is.
Right.
So I like that this has it on there, and like most of them don't, but I like how this has the actual number on it. Like it said, like the hype sticker said, double white vinyl on the inside, the 2 jacket sleeves. The one side has just a picture of Todd, vocals, drums, and on Todd's album sleeve, it has the English lyrics and the credits and everything. And then the Todd Blackwell one, Craig Blackwell, I'm sorry. His picture is actually pretty cool. He's like aiming the guitar at you. He looks like a cool dude. And then his has the Japanese lyrics and credits on his album sleeve. But the album logo is cool. It's like a dragon. Everyone's seen the picture of like the snake eating itself. Well, this is like a dragon eating itself, and it has like a cool TLT inside of that dragon. I'll call it the dragon circle or whatever.
It reminds me of like a crest from
red.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it does,
dragon.
For sure. It looks really cool though. It
does.
is, and the white pops and the red pops on it, and it's got like what they call an obi on it. It's like the band that goes around if you're looking at the album on the left-hand side, like it goes around, it's like a band on there. Very cool, great packaging. He did it right. You know what I mean? He had a pre-order for it. You're able to get, if you wanted the CD, but this had the download card in it too. And of course, I'm going to buy the vinyl. Very well put together package. I think it's cool. I think it's really, really well done.
Yeah, I think he did a great job on the packaging. I think he did a great job overall. I mean, this album it's self-produced by,
for sure.
by him and Craig. It sounds fantastic sonically. Really, really well produced. It's got kind of a modern sound to it with a very pronounced, kick drum, which is very, popular in more modern metal. The drums are really, really out front in the mix, which I like, being a ex-drummer from many years ago. Very impressed with his drumming throughout the album. And dude, Craig Blackwell, how is this dude not a famous guitar player? He's freaking fantastic. Like, and we'll get into it track by track, but like this dude like fucking rips on the guitar. So I also love the fact that, he's a lifelong friend with Craig. He said his first band that he ever joined was a band called Blackwell. Joined as the drummer. Todd did. So these guys have known each other since they were young teenagers and have been kind of working on this material off and on over the years, and finally had the opportunity to really dig into it and, rewrite it and modernize it and everything, and did a really good job. I mean, this album, and you know me, Steve, I'm not a big solo album guy. I don't know why. I just, like the Bruce Dickinsons, I know they're great. I need to listen to them, but I've given them a shot. They just don't grab me, but this one's different. Like, this one is really, really well done. Yeah, it's kind of changed my opinion on solo albums, I guess. So I got to go back and revisit all these ones I haven't listened to in the past. Yeah, so we'll get into all that. The packaging's great. I think the marketing on it was really good. Yeah, you can still buy it out there. You can get autographed copies. They sell it at all the Queensrÿche shows at the merch table, which I thought was cool. Letting the band letting him market his own records. So yeah, I hope at some point he does another one, because he really did a good job with this one. So just up front, all the tracks were written by Todd La Torre and Craig Blackwell, so we won't announce that before every track. But let's get into the track by track breakdown. The first leadoff track is Dogmata.
Carving the skin, silent to those who will speak. Turn up the juice or hang by the noose. They gather as torture begins. Kill the Gentile, the book tells me so. Prepare to be stoned for your sins. Segregate, indoctrinate, elusive free will. Strap her up and move it for the kill. Blood will rain, blood will rain far and wide. Blood will rain, kill in the name of God. Blood will rain far and wide. Blood will rain. Desert.
So what's the first thing you hear on this album, Steve? It's very reminiscent of something else. It's like a little cymbal sizzle at the beginning, like zzz, before the song drives in. It sounds just like the beginning of Queen of the Reich, which I thought was a nice little nod. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that was the first thing
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. It really is very close to the way Queen of the Reich begins, and I thought that was a cool nod to the history of his main band. Massive heavy riff kicks in, and that's something I'm going to say 1,000 times on this album. Like we talked about, Accept being the riff masters, like they got nothing on this album, man, because Todd and Craig came up with some just monster riffs throughout this album. And the first thing you really notice is this doesn't sound anything like Queensrÿche, man. This is like old school fucking punch you in the face metal. A massive heavy riff. There's a lot of double bass that kicks in early. Todd, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is a outed atheist. Like, he is very proud of his atheist beliefs, And he comes right after Religion on this album, man, hard. Lyrically in the first couple songs. He comes right after Religion in this song, continues into the next song, which, that's whatever your beliefs are, not judging either way, but, I like when somebody is comfortable enough in their beliefs that they're willing to write lyrics about it. The chorus is really cool. I couldn't figure out what he was saying. I thought it was like revelry or something like that, but it's Rebel Rain is the lyric. Rebel Rain far and wide. Mentioned it already, but great production. The drum tone is phenomenal. The guitar tone, they got it dialed in, man. The guitars on this album, I used the word chainsaw like 35 times in my notes as I was looking through them this morning. It just sounds like a freaking chainsaw, an in-tune chainsaw. Really strong bridge on this one. Guitar solo is very short, but it's really good. It just freaking rips. The other thing you get throughout this album is you're going to get a little bit of all the different voices of Todd La Torre. You get normal Todd, which is my favorite, kind of his normal Queensrÿche voice. You get screechy Todd, you get angry Todd, you get fucking Cookie Monster Todd. You get a little bit of everything. I find that very appealing. And the one you get the most, or at least a lot of, is I call Painkiller Todd. He does like that Rob Halford range Painkiller vocal a lot on this album, and it's actually really good. The only thing about this song that's weird to me is the ending. It just has like kind of a weird cut at the end. I'm assuming that was on purpose, but it just kind of like does like a little and it just stops. But no, it's a really good start to the record.
Yeah, Dogmata. You do get that little that sizzle in the beginning, but then that's the only Queensrÿche thing.
Yeah.
Like about this song, rapid riff. The drums are like in your face, like mega crunchy guitar tone. Definitely not Queensrÿche. Todd is not using his Queensrÿche voice on this song for the most part. This has got somewhat of like a Megadeth feel to it. I like the chorus. There's like fast high parts for the pre-chorus that are really cool. Killer solo. The riffing underneath is cool. The solo is a little short. A few more bars would have been great. I'm just gonna get this out right now. I have like two problems with this album. A, the solos are too short. And B, there's not a lot of bottom end. You can't really hear bass a lot in this. It's not to the point of And Justice for All for sure, but like you don't get a lot of bass. Like that's one thing that I was kind of missing, because like when the Queensrÿche stuff, the who Tim
Eddie fucking Jackson
is right in your face, but like you don't really get that on this album.
Yeah,
but
it's just kind of there to fill out the sound.
It's not. Yeah. So this is a great start to the album. I remember when I first got this, because I had no idea what to expect, especially after Jeff Tate's, when he first delved into solo albums. Like those first ones were like, this is like easy listening shit. So I didn't know what to expect. I kind of figured this would be not that, but I didn't really know what to expect. But when I dropped the needle on this, because this is one that I when I had it ordered, it was out on, I'm like, you know what, I will do that a lot. Like there's certain things I will not listen to on streaming until after I listen to it when I get my vinyl copy. So that I did that on this one. So like, I'm like, okay, what are we going to get here? Drop the needle. It's like, holy shit. Totally. Like, I'm like, all right. So like that, that little worry that I had went right out the window within the first like second and a half. And it's, we're off to the races here.
Yeah, for sure. Great opening to the album.
Yep. All right. Track number 2, Pretenders. And bam, this one gets right into it right off the bat. Great riff with the stop start and then a kick in. There's like an underlying harmonic guitar in there that I think is very cool. Gives it a little extra spice in there. Kick-ass riff for the verses. This one, Todd really changes up his vocal styles on this one. The drumming is like, man, it's just like so in your face, but like not overwhelming. You know what I mean? It's a great balance, but you're like,
it fits.
Man, the guitar tone is great, but man, the fucking drums are like right there. This song just rocks. Thumping tempo for the solo. Craig Blackwell just like totally rips it up on this one. I'm 2 for 2.
Yeah, no doubt. This song, like you said, it starts with another heavy riff. Like every song on this album, not every one, but the first like 3 or 4 just punch you right in the face. As soon as the song starts, there's no build up. It's just boom, go. Yeah, like you mentioned the vocals, you got Painkiller Todd to start when he's like, what makes the sinner? I can't even begin to do it with my voice dying, but like he does that super high shit. What makes the sinner, what makes the saint. There's a good back and forth though between like the Painkiller and the regular Todd, which I really like. Love the chorus. It's time to regulate pretenders of the faith. It's just really, really cool. Again, goes after religion. I did reference some of the lyrics on this one. Lead the slave on Sunday, then sin for 6 days more. Calibrate the moral compass once and for all, and never letting up for 2,000 years. Come on, what the fuck? So tell me, when is enough enough? I love how he says, what the fuck, on the album. No signs shown of mercy, no they don't understand, just blind, sworn to duty, it's time to regulate, but to deserve the fate. Pretenders of the faith, selling a fantasy, they hail the stake, pretenders of the faith, pretenders of the faith. Look out from behind because they're all on the take, and I love going into the bridge where he's like, bless you, Father, for you have sinned. I just think that's really cool. One other thing I noticed, I don't know if this is a tip of the cap to Dave Mustaine or not, but he does a couple rolled R's, like just like that, in a couple of the lines. Mustaine does that on just about every album, at least once. So I was wondering if that was just something he thought of, or if that's kind of a nod to Mustaine. So if it is, it's a great nod. Love it. You mentioned the short solos. This song's got a really quick solo, but it's really good. The riff really drives this song throughout it. Like it's just there in your face the whole time. More of that great modern style double bass work. You get a lot of the little throughout. There's just a lot of like little thrown in little double bass fills, which are really, really cool. And this one has a nice hard stop, which really makes me happy when it comes to a song. So yeah, I'm with you, man. 2 for 2. Great song. Love Pretenders. All right. Third track. Hellbound and Down.
Nobody talked you off the ledge. Now you've gone too far again. Distancing the truth, and you're set to see it through. One step in is the end. Feel like letting go. Surrender to a free fall down. Hellbound and down. Can you face the fear that we've all been told? One more time, then you'd walk away. But you could not kick the thrill. Sick philosophy, psycho self-destructive tendencies. Now you're hanging by a thread. Feel like letting go. Surrender to a free fall down.
All right, so you get the big pick slide at the beginning, which I'm in. As soon as I hear a pick slide to start a song, I'm in. Just another just crunchy monster riff, more double bass driving the beat. Really nice mix of real Todd and the kind of angry Todd on this one. I love the kind of call and response during the I think it's the pre-chorus. Todd does the feel like letting go, and the background vocals are like, letting go. Another kind of like accept thing almost. It sounds like they accept background vocals. I love the chorus, just the down, hellbound and down. The chorus sounds, it just sounds very urgent. It's very intense. The bridge part into the solo is my favorite part of this song, though. So hopefully Tim can insert it here.
Walls of blood are burning. Too late to turn back now. Desperation, overload. The seeds of suffering are sown. Welcome to the underworld.
Just very crunchy guitar underneath the solo. It's got some spoken word stuff going on in it, which is really cool. The solo is kind of like simple, but it's very effective. It fits the song perfectly, and there's that chainsaw crunch, man, underneath it. And then at the end, when he gets into the "How does it make you feel?"
How does it make you feel? How do you end up here? How does it make you feel? Now you're down.
Angry, awesome Todd, and I love that part. So yeah, this is another one. Yeah, we are 3 for 3 without a doubt so far on this album for me. Hellbound and Down is a killer song.
Yeah, Hellbound and Down, straightforward rocker right out of the gate. Kind of more of the Todd vocals that we're used to on this one. But he does, you get that, like you said, you get that part in the chorus. I love the pace of this song. I think, like musically, vocally, that just the pace of it is absolutely fantastic. Some really cool and different vocal parts. Kind of, like I said, he kind of goes back and forth. Like right before the soul, I have that down too. Just like that part is just like so killer. This song just rips. I don't have a lot, detail on this one, but when I first listened to this, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I can't see Queensrÿche. Queensrÿche, we consider them a metal band, but this is metal. You know what I mean? There's metal, and then there's metal. Like, this is metal.
Yeah, this album's heavier than anything Queensrÿche's ever done.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I'm digging it. And I love both, but like we're like right off to the races here. This is like just you're getting curb stomped here so far on this album.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Steve can't say this word, so I'm going to introduce 2 songs in a row.
Sorry.
So this is next track is Darkened Majesty.
Just another fool on a thin line. Paranoid with one foot in the grave.
All right, so this is just another song, just shot out of a fucking cannon. It starts heavy and just stays heavy. Got more of that chainsaw sounding guitar. You got Painkiller Todd in full force on this song. He is just going for it. My favorite part of this song is the mirror, mirror on the wall. Tell me who's the twisted sickest of them all. It's really cool. It's got a quick little solo after that part. Then he shifts from Painkiller Todd into regular Todd during the chorus. This chorus reminds me of a Queensrÿche song, and I meant to go back and figure out which one it was, but now I see in my notes I never did that. What's the Queensrÿche song? It's one of the newer songs that's like, and we all fall down is the chorus. It sounds like that. It reminds me of that. I think it's on the Verdict, but I just couldn't place what song it is. But anyway, yeah, the lyrics are cool. Colors slash the veil away. Beyond the black is where I'll be. Silent screams become the darkened majesty. When you see the light of day, something draws you under me. Do not walk in fear. Embrace the reality. I think Todd does a really good job throughout most of this album on lyrics. Again, great prominent double bass throughout this song, especially the very last chorus. It just takes off with the double bass and just keeps building the intensity. But yeah, this is another really strong song, and it's different, I think, than the first few that we talked about, but it's still very heavy and very kind of right in line with what this album has to offer so far.
Yeah, Darkened Majesty. I still can't fucking say it right. Oh my God.
You can leave that one in, Doug.
All right,
it's funny.
sorry. I was out till late last night.
It's like me saying Electric Requiem.
Yeah. Okay. I will just call this track 4. This, like, so far, this album is just a punch in the face, slamming. This would be a good pit song. Back to the high vocal style with some layering in there. Great head bobber. Some killer ripping leads between the verses. Like Craig Blackwell is just like, how have we not even heard this guy's name before?
Yeah.
Or since. I love how this doesn't even sound like the Todd that we're used to. There's some kick-ass drum fills in there. The middle section, we do get some good bass on this one though. The bass, in that middle section there, you get some cool bass, and there's some sound effects like just before the solo is really cool. And I like this one too because there's like a layered dual solo on this one that I think is very cool. How they did, the production on this song is, I love that layering and that dualness of the guitars. I like this one. Goddamn, the double bass drumming is just like friggin' killer in your face. And we are on a roll here, my friend. We are 4-4-4.
Can you say the name
All right,
of
do
the
you want me
next
to take
song?
the next one?
Can you pronounce it correctly?
I can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All you, man.
All right, track 5, Crossroads to Insanity.
Stuck inside these four walls, still talking round in circles, feeling so alone. My body sits in disbelief, doped up and comatose. I can't get no
Not Roads to Madness, right?
Well, I didn't even think about that.
Right? And it's weird because I was listening to this last week on my botched attempt to record with BC, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to listen to something a little metal and angry because I was so pissed off. So this one came on, and I was just coming off the highway exit, and this song came out. I'm like, oh, Crossroads to Insanity. Roads to Madness. I'm like, okay.
This is the
but
turn
starts
you
out-
take before you get on the Roads to Madness.
Yeah, no shit. Clean guitar with a cool effect on at the beginning, a little softer vocals for Todd. And this feels like just like little tinge of it reminds me of Iron Maiden's Strange World from the first album. Like that kind of like that effect on the clean guitar. There's some dual guitar harmonies sprinkled in there. Todd builds the intensity in the vocals as the song goes along, kicks up in intensity just after like 2 minutes. So, and you still have the kind of Roads to Madness kind of feel because you get that, that clean guitar part and then you get that build in there. There's a great scream leading into the solo. It's like, holy shit. I was like, wow. And I am totally digging Craig's guitar playing. I'm so glad that the solo was longer on this one. And I love it too. It's like melodic and then it gets ripping. I love when guitar players do that. And I like this song because it gives the album a little bit of breathing room. Like we've had our fucking head kicked in for the first 4 tracks here, and this one kind of gives a little breathing room. I think it's placed perfectly on the album. I probably would have maybe put this like 4th, not 5th, but it still gives you a little breather on the album. Though I think this song is fantastic.
Yeah, I have that exact same note that I would have moved this song up 1 track in the track listing just to give you that place to catch your breath. Because you are right, like the first 4 songs in this album are very intense and they're all very up-tempo and just in-your-face metal kind of tunes. But yeah, it's placed well on the album. I think it could just go up 1. But yeah, first real down-tempo song on the album. Great vocal throughout. This is exactly what I want to hear from Todd La Torre. Like he is at his best on this song, I think. It's a little reminiscent for me of Midnight Lullaby from the self-titled first Todd La Torre album with Queensrÿche. It's kind of got that not really creepy feel, but it's just kind of moody and melodic. Love the chorus. The one chance is all it takes to show you who I am. What makes a bitter man you'll never understand. Love the chorus. You mentioned the guitar solo, Steve. Love the solo on this song. It's very melodic. It perfectly fits the song. The tone of the guitars is exceptional. There's not one thing I'd change about this song. I think it's fantastic. And I say that even though it fades out. And the reason why I think the fade out works on this song is because of the subject matter of the song. This song's about a guy in a mental institution. So the way I read this song is like he's all hyped up and he's going through all these feelings in his head and he's, feeling like these 4 walls are closing in on him. And then towards the end, the meds kick in. And that's just kind of him fading away at the end. That's just the way I interpreted that. And I think it really works. Might not have anything to do with that, but for me, that was my justification of a song fading out, and this is a perfect one to do it. Yeah, it's just a song about a guy in a mental institution that's going through some stuff. This is a perfect song for this position on the album, and it's one of the best on the album, I think. I love this song. All right, so next up, we've got another one that's kind of hard to say. Critical Cynic. Had to think about that one.
Build
So it's another one right out of the gate. Just an immediate punch in the face. You got a chance to catch your breath. Now we're going to beat the shit out of you again. So this song's very different, though. This doesn't sound like any of the other ones on this. This sounds like it could have been a Queensrÿche song. I'm thinking like, I don't know, somewhere maybe like Rage for Order, if you like maybe added some keyboards and stuff to it. It's got kind of that chaotic feel to it. It's got a very interesting verse sections in this song. It's super heavy. There's all kinds of crazy drumming going on, but there's like kind of a slower riff underneath it. It's very chaotic. And then you hit the chorus and all of a sudden it becomes very melodic. It takes that chaos and just turns it into like a really good hook. Really great tone to the vocals on the chorus. And then as soon as the chorus is over, it goes right back into that heavy chaos. So it kind of takes you on a bit of a ride. I can't say enough about Todd's drumming on this album and this song in particular. He just fucking crushes it. This dude could play drums for anybody, I think. I mean, he's that good. And you can tell he takes it seriously. I mean, that's what he came up on, and he still to this day, maintains his chops on the drums, and I love that about him. You can step in a moment's notice and play drums for anybody. The song gets very melodic again during the guitar solo. It's a perfectly written solo for the song. It sounds great. And then the way it rolls back into the heavy riff for a few seconds and then goes back into that melodic chorus. Like, this song is just very well written and very well produced and very well arranged. I really, really dig Critical Sin.
Yeah, another song that just pummels you from the start. But this has got a different feel to it for me. Put some like cool little tribal drums in there for the verses. Little loose kind of riff in there too, that I think is kind of cool and a little different for the album that we've had so far. Cool change for the chorus. There's like an underlying harmonic parts in this song that I think are very cool too. I like when you get that in a song. There's like a really kind of different tone for the solo on this one that I think is cool. Like another short one. I think this is one that like they could have did a little more with it, I think. So like, and that's like I mentioned that before, because I'm like Craig is like kicking ass. Like, I don't know, is he underutilized on this album? Because I think we could have got a lot more soloing from him for sure. Intense vocals from Todd. This one's cool. Like we're back, but this one's got a little different feel to it for me. All right, next track, title track, "Rejoice in the Suffering." Got a driving riff at the beginning there, some great grindage and some harmonic leads up to the vocals. I love the it's like a scratchy type grindage for the verses, like good layering for the chorus. There's like this really cool grinding lead that leads up to the solo. Maybe Tim could put it in here. It's another one of them that starts melodic and then the tempo kicks up for some really kick-ass soloing on this one. Awesome guitar harmonies at the end of the solo too. Then the vocals, and I like when bands do this too. Like you'll have the first couple verses, then you'll have a bridge and then a solo, and then like you'll have a kick-ass solo, but then like it gets more intense like for that last part of the song. And I just love how it does that on this song. It has that element to it that I love. Just another kick-ass song.
Yeah, it's the build we always talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, "Rejoice in the Suffering," as you said, another just killer riff to start the song. I do love the little guitar harmony part at the beginning. It's very Queensrÿche reminiscent for me. Love the vocal delivery again on this song. It's perfect for Todd's voice. The verses for me are the strength of this song. I think the verses are much better than the chorus. I think the chorus on this song is a little weak. It's just not very hooky. It's just kind of forgettable. It's just basically just saying the name of the song. So that's my one criticism of this song, but the verses are phenomenally good. I had the same thing in my notes that when the band kind of drops out for a second, there's just the super crunchy, heavy riff, some great double bass work underneath it that kind of builds into the solo. The solo, like you said, it's a longer solo on this song. It starts off kind of basic, and then it just gets into shred mode. And then when you come out of shred mode, you go back into the riff, and then Todd comes in painkiller Todd mode for a few lines at the end of this song. But yeah, this is a good one for me. It's not as good as some of the ones we've heard earlier, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not a favorite of mine based on what we've already heard. And it's mostly because of the chorus. I think the chorus is just kind of forgettable, but everything else in it is pretty damn good. All right, so next up, track number 8. We are kind of flying through this, but just kind of saying a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But everyone is good. You just there's not much you can say. So track number 8, speaking of good, this is called Vexed.
Staring at the mysteries in the sky that burned out long ago. The time machine has taught us well. The failure of the lessons now unfold, and here we are again.
All right, so this song has an acoustic opening. Again, just a gorgeous guitar tone. They did a really good job kind of honing in the sound for the guitars on every song on this album. Kind of a high falsetto opening line that I'm not really sure how I feel about it. One time I listened to it and I hate it. One time I listened to it and I like it. So it's just kind of hit and miss for me on that. But after that first line, I think the rest of the vocal delivery on this song is near perfection. Again, exactly what I want to hear from Todd. I love at the beginning of that mellow intro, he does that, here we are again, and then the song just fucking explodes. Like, you're not sure, is this going to be like a slower song or is this going to be, a metal tune? And you find out pretty early on. Not as fast as some of the earlier songs. It's more of a mid-tempo riff, but it's super heavy. This song, you get kind of heavy, angry Todd, not really painkiller Todd. But he does that, like where he hits that real high note, like on the first word of a lyric, which he does some of that on some Queensrÿche material too, which I always really enjoy when he does that. Some, again, just killer double bass in the pre-chorus of this song. He is just wearing out those bass pedals on this song. This song to me has the best chorus on the album. I think it's the best hook of any chorus. Really, really think the chorus is killer on this one. He does go into painkiller mode a little bit on the second verse. It fits really well. I just love the way he delivers the line, "I'm vexed," in the chorus, which, given what my voice is doing today, I'm not even going to try to do it because it'll sound like absolute dog shit. But it's just super high and super intense. And then this song like kind of takes a turn in the middle. It gets like a little thrashy right before the solo, a little like real super heavy kind of bridge moment. And then it gets into another melodic solo. I don't think this is the best solo on the album. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as good as some of the other ones, but overall, this song just freaking kills. I love Vexed.
Vexed, yeah. Got a little fade in with a little clean metal guitar in there with some, I would say maybe a little heartfelt vocals from Todd, I think. The intensity picks up like just under a minute, but it's got like that urgent feel to it. There's a, like you said, it's not a like balls out one, but it's got a good gallop to it, I think. You would maybe throw that word in there. I really love the feel of this one. Like, I'm vexed. I love that too. I had that like right in my notes. The pre-chorus is fantastic. Man, that tempo change for the bridge right before the solo, like you said, it's just like, holy shit. So heavy, and then you get the solo. It's not the kind of solo that you would expect from this song. It's like, it's melodic. Like you wouldn't, you know what I mean? It just kind of threw me a little bit. Didn't see it coming for sure. And then back to that kick-ass pre-chorus. I really like this one too. This is a, I don't know if you could even, consider it a deep track, because it's not like, this was never toured or played or anywhere besides in someone's earphones or stereo or whatever, but like great track, like deep in the album.
Yeah, this is another one I think it's buried on the album. I think if this could have been moved up maybe into like the 3-hole on this album to give you a little bit of a change of pace from the first two really heavy opening songs, maybe put another one of those songs down a little lower, but wherever it appears on the album, it fucking rips, man. This song is really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. Ray, we're on track number 9 here. Vanguards of the Dawn Wall. All right, bang. We're right back into it. Another track with a mosh pit type feel to it. Cool call and response for the verses and the chorus. This song has quite a frantic feel to it that I think is very cool. And I love, I love the fast picking for the solo. It's just like that. And maybe Tim could throw it in here. Absolutely killer. I love the gang type vocals for the chorus, and this song just kicks all kind of ass. I'm just like, I'm digging the shit out of this album.
Well, it had to happen sooner or later.
Here we go.
We had to have a little bit of a divergence here. Yeah, this song's almost like a thrash song. I mean, it really is. It's super fast, super heavy. You get Painkiller Todd throughout. To me, this one's just too much. Like it's. I hate to use the word unauthentic, but it just kind of feels like it's not authentic. Like we're just going to make a heavy thrashy song just to make a heavy thrashy song.
Is it too much rocker drivel for you?
No, because this I love rocker drivel too, and I don't think anything on this album is really rocker drivel. It's great music, but this one's just too much. Like I've had my fill of super heavy music by this point. I'm coming off of Vexed, which is a great melodic tune, and we're right back into this. It's just too much. I'm just not a fan of this song. It's a total miss for me. It has become a skipper as I've gone through, listening to this album over and over again. There's some great musical elements in it. There's no doubt. I mean, the playing's fantastic, but it's just too much. I'm not a fan of this song at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. I knew it would happen sooner or later.
Oh, it was bound to. Absolutely.
All right. So the closing,
you're entitled to be incorrect.
Yeah. Happens from time to time. All right, so the closing track on the album proper, we are going to talk about the bonus tracks as well. This is the closer on the album called Apology.
He used to be the perfect kind of stranger, blacks and blue, and thrown into the flames. Born a child, desensitized, manic screams on the day.
All right, just another perfect vocal for Todd on this one. Love the vocals on this song. It's got kind of a mellow acoustic opening that then kind of builds with intensity. It sounds like Zakk Wylde played this song, is what I put in my notes. Like, it's got some pinch harmonics in there that would make Zakk proud. He's like the king of the pinch harmonic. And then as the song kicks in, there's like this roar, which I freaking love. It's so cool. Like, it just comes out of nowhere as the heavier guitar kicks in. It's kind of it's a down tempo song, but it's got like some heaviness to it. And then, when the vocals come back in, it goes back down to being kind of mellower, or more mellow. I don't know that mellower is a word. Has that kind of haunting feeling. It's got some cool effects on the vocals. Just, again, really, really like how Todd sounds on this song. And then the chorus gets very heavy. Great lyric. I think I get the last word for the first time. Suddenly I feel so free. I really think I get the last word for the first time is a great great lyric. Again, the solo, said it a bunch of times, it perfectly fits this song. I love a great guitar solo in a slower song, because I think they're harder to compose, not being a guitar player. But for me, I would think it's easier to just shred, and fill some time. But to really write that good melodic solo for a slow song takes a special skill set. And I think Craig does a great job on it here. This song, it's 6 minutes long. It takes you on a bit of a journey. It's I won't say it's an epic song, but it's probably the longest song on the album, I believe. It's kind of that epic kind of down tempo closer that the Queensrÿche likes to do. I'm glad Todd kind of kept that tradition up. There's a part from where he does the "Now You've Gone Away." It's just a super intense high vocal, and then that guitar tone again after that is just badass. I think Apology is a perfect closer for this album. Again, it's another kind of breath catcher. It lets you kind of recover a little bit after getting just pummeled for the last 45 minutes. But I really, really like Apology.
Yeah, Apology. We get the little fade in at the start there, some clean guitars. There's a little buzz behind them I think is kind of cool. And it's definitely got a Queensrÿche feel to it at the beginning, I think. And then, damn, like, talk about grindage. I'm like, holy shit. But then it kind of goes down for the vocals and the verses. Some great drum fills in there. There's some, and this one is cool too. There's some really cool headphone effects in there. So
Yeah.
if you listen to it,
very
some
well
headphones, there's
produced.
some really cool stuff. Yeah, like right before the melodic solo. And I do like that too. Like Ray, like you get a really good melodic solo and like kind of a a slower tune. I kind of have this down as a kind of a brooding song, like to close out the album.
That's a good word.
But I like it though. Like it's not. There was an album I listened to the other day, and like it just had a horrible, slow, shitty song for the final track. But this one is good. It fits, and it gives you a little. And I do like how it fades out too. Like the clean guitars fade out. I don't mind that on this because it kind of just like gives you that like we made it through this journey of getting your head kicked in and some like differentness of seeing the different side of Todd, a heavier side of Todd. Introduced to Craig Blackwell that like is absolutely fucking amazing on this album. Shit, I was thinking like, man, like because they did this album I want to say around when Parker was out of the band. Like I love Stoney, but like I'm surprised that maybe they did see, hey, do you want to, be in Queensrÿche? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know what else Craig Blackwell has going on in his life. It might have been thrown out there. It might have been like, no, can't do it or whatever. But like, I would like to hear more from this guy.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if there's if he has anything else out. I'm going to maybe, you're not well, Mr. Blackwell. I've been dying to throw that in there the whole fucking episode, by the way.
It's been on my mind too.
So I think it's a great ending track. Like I said, this album took you on a massive hard metal journey, and to end with that like that broodingness, like just that other side of metal, like maybe a track that you'd hear like on Heaven and Hell or like Mob Rules or something like that, kind of a little Dio-esque maybe, but just a great album ender. I really thought it was a good one. So should we get into some bonus tracks here? I got 3, right?
Yeah,
so you have 3.
Yep, 3 bonus tracks.
It's cool too because they're on the vinyl too, so which is cool. All right, first one is called Fractured.
Protest, the grotesque.
more grindage right at the start there. There's some layered vocals, and I like it too because you get like layered vocals and then you get just straight Todd, and then it goes back to layered vocals. I think it's kind of cool. Tempo kicks up a little bit for the chorus. Some ripping leads between the chorus and the verses. Great solo in this one again. But listen to the chords underneath the solo. It's awesome. Just like I love the underneath stuff on a lot of things. Love it. It just sounds so huge, those chords underneath the solo. Then the tempo picks back up again and puts us back at the chorus. It's a good one. But like you said, like I kind of had to listen to the album and then just kind of take a break for a while and then because that's what I did when I did my notes. I listened to the album, did my notes on the album. Then I'm like, okay, I need to just step away. I need, the round 3 was over. So I had to, go into my corner and spit in the bucket and get my head mopped, and Mickey cut my eyes.
They gotta open my eye. Come here, Mickey.
Do that kind of thing just to get a little breather from it. But then this was a good one to come back to. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's the way you should consume this, because the album itself ends on apology. That's the way the artist intended the album to end, and then decided to throw a few bonus tracks on. So I think that's a really good approach to doing it. So you get the full effect of the album proper from start to finish, and then go back and hear the other stuff that he did. Yeah, you mentioned the riff on this one. It's got like that little stuttering kind of chugga, chugga. It reminds me of, what's the name of that? The Heavy Metal Shuffle by Kick-Axe. Remember that tune?
Heavy Metal Shuffle.
It just, I don't know why it reminds me of that, but I love that little chugga chugga riff. You mentioned the verses. It's almost like a gang vocal sound, doubles up like a vocal harmony on the pre-chorus, high Todd and low Todd. The pre-chorus is cool. I don't know what he says, like loaded up, settle down. Do you see what's going down? I'll take the bite. I'll set the hook. It's just really, really catchy. Chorus then gets kind of slower and melodic. Do you see another way? Then it comes with the pressuring the system. It's just really well written. I really dig this song. Musically, it's good. The solo is solid. As you said, I would love to hear more from Mr. Blackwell. So maybe we'll have to do a deep dive and see what else he's got out there, if anything. So, for a bonus track, I think Fractured's really good. I think it could have replaced a song or two on the main album, honestly. Yeah, it's a good start to the bonus section. All right, so second bonus track is called Set It Off. All right, so Set It Off has like kind of a weird electronic sound that starts the song with a little fuzzy electronic stuff, and it goes into a very heavy, trudgy riff. It sounds like a simple riff, but it's just very cool and very heavy. Todd sounds great again. He's doing kind of regular Queensrÿche Todd most of this song, a little bit of Painkiller after the first verse. Love the chorus on this song. It's got a really, really great hook to it. There's also like a really cool, not really noticeable unless you're in headphones, like a real deep harmony voice going on here and there in this song. It just kind of comes in every once in a while, but it's like super deep, kind of evil sounding. The solo on this song is fantastic. It's very very ominous sounding, this solo, I think. I love the way it ends and then goes right back into the main heavy riff. This is one, like, I don't know why this was a bonus track and not on the album. This is far better than Vanguards of the Dawn Wall. To me, this song is deserving of being on the main album and not a bonus track. So if you don't have a version that has the bonus tracks, I would highly recommend you go out and find you one, either on streaming or buy another copy that has this on it, because this is a really, really killer song. I really like the ending, the way it kind of ends with the chorus, but the vocals are kind of fuzzy, and it's just a really, really strong tune.
Yeah, set it off. I think that maybe they were out cruising around in their car listening to Rob Halford's Fight album, and then kind of went in the studio and did this one. You get a little murky, quick start there. Great head bobbing riff when the rest of it kicks in. I love the feel of it. This one, I don't know if you're familiar with the Rob Halford's Fight stuff.
Been a long time.
There's a song on there called, the song on there, Contortion, kind of reminds me of that. I love the pace of this one. There's some, and I'm in when there's great gang haze. Hey, I love that shit. The layering on the vocals is really cool. And actually, it sounds like Halford sings on the chorus on this one. It really does. I was like, wow, I kind of went back a couple times and I'm like, shit. I'm like, if he's doing it on purpose, it worked. If he's not doing it on purpose, it still worked. There's like that megaphone spoken part in the middle that's kind of cool. There's a really cool stuttering riff, like you said, like during the layered solo. I think it's great. Then I got stops, and then the second solo comes in. Great arrangements. I really like this one. I think this song is very well crafted. I enjoy this one. Yeah, like you said, not sure how this was left off the album. You can only put so many on there, but because I think it would have been cool too if say they record one more song, then you could get a 4-song EP, as a bonus thing, or an extra something. I think that would have kind of been cool to do too.
Yeah.
So final bonus track, One by One.
One by one, we pierced our veil of deception. Storm through the night, slaughtering to seal your fate. It's redemption. This is your final destiny. And your book of lies. The time has come for you to greet swords of apostasy. No one is risen from death. Still they are faithful, grasping with hope. Millions still part of a fringe, plan to extend.
All right, another fade in beginning. Fast burner to start. We get some China Boys in there with some big chords for the main for when the main riff starts. It's got like a swirling feel. And are they saying Zool? Like from Ghostbusters? I'm like,
Not
what
sure.
the fuck are they saying? Kicks down to at about a minute and a half in, and totally different killer riff starts. Then you get some Cookie Monster vocals from Todd. I love it because it just like throws that differentness into it. Very cool. Then when the more of the layered vocals come back in, then back to the Cookie Monster vocals. I love that back and forth, that switch. I think it's done really well. Some ripping up for the solo. Then there's like a spoken Cookie Monster vocal part that I think
Me
is
like
fucking
cookies.
cool. Yeah. Great. I love it as in quotations, the band kicks back in with some cool leads underneath. Killer bonus track. Like I said, it would have been cool to do a bonus like EP. I think they definitely could have just did one more song, and which I'm sure they probably had, and like just do a separate. That would be cool. Like because like a lot of bands have been doing it lately. That they'll do the 10-inch singles. I think that would be really cool to do that. But the bonus tracks are great. But like I said, I needed a little break after the album proper. And like you said, like Apology, that's how the album was meant to end. So like I just kind of, shut it off there. Then put these on. I'm like, wow. I'm like, they're just like they would have fit perfectly anywhere on the album.
Yeah,
I'm glad they put them out.
Yeah, me too. This one's not a favorite of mine. I am into it musically when it first starts. I think the intro music is really good. As soon as I hear Cookie Monster vocals, I'm out. I can't do Cookie Monster on any group, any band, any artist, even one of my favorites like Todd La Torre. I just can't do Cookie Monster vocals. The second it starts, I check out and I don't check back in. It does get a little better later on when he actually sings for real. But yeah, I as a whole, I can't do like Kill Switch Engage. I can't do what's the Gajira. I can't do it. I cannot listen to music that has that vocals.
You're definitely the BB of this podcast. You can't do that shit either.
I just can't. Like, what's the point? You can't understand a word you're saying. There's nothing pleasing to the ear about it. If you throw it in every once in a while, like on a scream or something, all right, fine. But no. So yeah, this song is a dog for me. Other than musically, I think it's pretty cool, but I just can't with the vocals.
All right,
man. We ripped through that. Holy shit,
we did.
Cool. Yeah, that was a fun one. I think as the pace of the album, it kind of dictated the pace of the show because it's just like one ripper after another. All right, so we are not going to do like a 13-1 ranking of these songs, but we are going to talk about what our favorite songs are and what our least favorite songs are. So I'll go first with the least favorites. My least favorite song by a mile on this is One by One, the last bonus track with the Cookie Monster vocals. I'm out. Can't do it. That'd be my number 13. My one right behind that is Vanguards of the Dark Wall. Again, It's okay. It's just too much. Like by this point in the album, it's just too much. Like I don't need another pummeling song like towards the end of the album, and it just feels disingenuous to me. And then my third one I would say is the title track, Rejoice in the Suffering. Good song, but I just don't like the chorus. I think the chorus weakens the overall song, but it's not bad. Everything above that, from what would be 10 to 1 if we were ranking all of them, are outstanding songs. Those are the only 3 that I have any gripes about whatsoever. What do you got, Steve?
All right. My bottom. I'll do my bottom 3 first. And I enjoy all of them. I do. It's tough to pick a bottom 3 on this album for me. Oh, what's your favorite track? All of them. No. And these aren't in any order. Like I don't know if you want to say bottom 3 or whatever. I'm gonna go Dogmata for the first one, just because the solo's so short. It left me wanting more solo-wise, for sure. I'm going to say the title track also is one of the best. Who said that? That's someone. Was that a?
That's Uncle Steve.
That's an Uncle Steve thing, right?
Yeah.
The least best. And then I don't know. I'll say Critical Cynic. Actually, I'm going to say Dark and Magistry, because I can't fucking pronounce it for some reason today. So I put that as my third. But my top 3, Hellbound and Down. Oh, I guess I'll go first on the best ones, fine, since I already started.
Are you sure?
Hellbound and Down song just is awesome. It's like not even a 4-minute song. It just like comes in, kicks your ass, and gets the fuck out. Set It Off, one of the bonus tracks. Absolutely crushed that one. And Vexed, that's definitely my top song is Vexed.
Yeah, same. That would, if we were ranking them, that was my number 1. I think it's a great song. If that song comes out in 1988, it's a fucking smash hit, I think. It's the strongest song on the album. It's got the best chorus on the album, I think. I think just overall, start to finish, it's just the best song. My number 2 would be Crossroads to Insanity. I love that down-tempo, kind of melodic, moody, creepy kind of song, and I think this is one that's done to perfection. And then I got a tie for number 3. I can't pick 3. I've got a 3 and a 3.1. My number 3 would be Pretenders, second song on the album. Just fucking rips. I agree with Dogmata. That's kind of a middle of the pack song for me. It's a really good start to the album, but it's just not, it doesn't feel like it's complete all the way. The solo's short. The way it ends is kind of weird. But I think this album really kicks into gear with Pretenders. And my number 3.1 is Apology. I love that closing track. I think it's so good. Again, it's kind of more down-tempo and melodic, but it's got a heaviness to it, to the delivery and the guitar in particular with all the pinch harmonics. I think it's really strong. And Hellbound and Down, just outside that top 4, I guess. Would be my number 5. But yeah, I was really blown away by this album. And I had listened to it in the past, like when it first came out, and was like, it's okay. I didn't really spend a lot of time with it, though. It was a little overly heavy, I think, at first. It was just such a difference. It just didn't grab me at first. But once we decided to do this as an episode, and I've been binging this album for the last month now. I think it's been my number 1 most played album on Spotify for the last 3 consecutive weeks. I really, really like this album. I think Todd did a phenomenal job for a first solo album. And I know a lot of this material was in the works for a long time, so it's not like they just sat down in a month and wrote an album. But what they did with the material that they've been working on since they were kids and bringing it, modernizing it, is just really strong. Craig Blackwell needs to be in a band tomorrow if he's not, and needs to be a guitar player that people know, because he is just really, really solid on this album. Great soloing, great riff writing, great guitar tone. Just does everything I want in a guitar player. I do agree with you a little bit on the bass. It does get a little buried in the mix on certain tracks. Other tracks, it's a little more out. I wouldn't even say it's out front, but it's a little more prominent. You can hear it more, but overall the production's great. The vocals are great. Outside of Vanguards and One by One, there's not a track on this album that I would not say is at least an 8 out of 10, if not higher. I would love to see this album toured. Todd maybe do an opening slot, although Queensrÿche never stops touring, so I don't know when he would ever do that. But it'd be great to see Todd either do like a solo like club tour or do an opening slot for somebody else. I think this is a really good album that deserves to be played live. And I know he's been talking about doing another one, and I hope he does, because this is a really, really just great entry in the kind of the Queensrÿche universe. One thing we didn't call out, there is you mentioned it before a little bit, but there's two other musicians that appear. Al Nunn does some keyboards on the song One by One and a couple other spots on the album. And then Jordan Ziff does a guitar solo on Rejoice in the Suffering, which I didn't know who that was until I watched that making of video. But Jordan Ziff, I guess, has played with Rat over the years, been in some other bands, and Todd thinks very highly of him. There's a really cool making of Rejoice in the Suffering video on YouTube. If you've never seen it, I would look it up. It's about 7 or 8 minutes, just kind of some behind the scenes in the recording studio. Todd kind of talking through the process and the writing of the tracks and the musicians and that sort of thing. So it's a good watch. Plus, you get a little tour of his home studio, which is cool. And then our old friend Zeus was brought in for the mixing and mastering. Todd and Craig produced it. Zeus did mixing and mastering, and I think overall they all did a great job on this album. So this was a really, really fun album to review. It was a fun episode to do. I've been looking forward to it. I've been adding to my notes as the weeks have gone on, because we were supposed to do this earlier, and then you had your issue with your mom that came up, so we had to kind of push it back. So it gave me another week of preparation, another week of taking notes. So probably have more notes for this album than any other one that we've done. But yeah, really, really enjoy this record, and my hat is off to Mr. La Torre. Well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this album. When I first got it, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and then when it came on, I was like, holy shit. And absolutely enjoyed listening to this album over the last couple, I'd say month or so, hitting it pretty heavy. Like you said, Craig Blackwell, man, like he's gotta be out there doing something. If not, it's a waste. But I think just he was underutilized solo wise on this album. There was 2 songs where the solo was, I was like, man, if they just did a slight tempo change here, that would have been so much cooler. You know what I mean? There were 2 songs that really stood out to me in that realm. And when I was listening to it, fantastic album. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And, the packaging, I mean, like they say, soup to nuts, just fucking great packaging. The white vinyl is so cool. Looks great on your turntable. The vinyl sounds great. And then, if you kind of throw that on its head, if you're streaming it, a lot of cool headphone shit going on in there. So it wasn't one of those albums where, we've talked about, I'm sure I know you guys have on Asylum and we have on Hotter Than Hell, that man, why is the band producing their own shit? They need someone in there to say, no, we're not doing that. You can't, you know what I mean? But I didn't get any of that on this one. I don't know if it's just because maybe they're such good friends and they were just in the, and just so like-minded but there's none of that on this album for me.
I think they took their time too. You know what I mean? They didn't rush this out in 6 months.
Yeah.
They worked on this for 3 years.
And you know what? And they got it done during COVID. Another positive thing that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
They had time to, to get together and work it out and finally get to do what they wanted to do for years. And I'm glad that, they had the opportunity to do that, because otherwise, if, say there's no COVID or whatever, Todd's not going to have the time to do this.
Right.
Because he's going to be on the road with the band or, studio or whatever. So that was definitely a positive thing for it. And like I said, I enjoyed the hell out of this, and I hope that these guys do something else, because I would love to hear it. And like you said, I would love to see this toured. Hey, Todd, I know you're listening. So Monsters of Rock Cruise is coming up. Throw one of these songs in the Queensrÿche set list. Everybody would be like, what the hell is this? Fun. Oh my God, that's fucking awesome. And I wonder, they're also been in the studio in and out. I wonder, it would be cool for them to bust out a new song on the Monsters of Rock Cruise.
Yeah, they just might. You know what? Speaking of new songs, we totally forgot to mention.
I was just going to say that. Yep, I was just going to say that.
Since our last episode, Mr. Jeff Tate has released the first single from Operation Mindcrime 3 called Power. We're not going to get into it in depth because we're going to obviously save that for a review whenever the album gets released. But just real quick, Steve, what did you think of Power on a first or second listen?
I liked it. It had mind crime-esque feel to it in parts, I thought. I didn't hate it, that's for sure. And it kind of was like, okay, so this is what this song sounds like. But like if you look at the track listing, it's like the 7th or 8th song, so it's down in the album. So it's going to be interesting to see how the story plays out. And, we'll definitely get into that when it comes out. I think that when Mind Crime 3 comes out, Ray, we're going to have to, I'd say we give it a couple weeks, and then I'd say we do an episode on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather quickly.
Absolutely.
Because maybe it'll be like DNA. We were so excited about it, we'll do an episode. Then maybe down the road, we'll
go back a year later,
reevaluate. You know what I mean? Redo, redux, or whatever they call it. I really liked it. I didn't listen to it enough to love it, or remember lyrics or anything like that. But it gave me a little catalyst to kind of be a little more excited about it than I was initially when I heard that this was what was going to be taking place. And it actually, for me, was like a surprise that, like, boom, here's the single and the album's coming out in May. Yep. You know what I mean? It wasn't like half the time, okay, the new album's done. It's March now, but you're not getting the album till like October. Like we don't have that wait, in which that kind of surprised me too. And, they said they recorded it like all over the world and stuff like that. But I hope that doesn't change the feel, the cohesion of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's a factor too. But I like what I heard so far.
Yeah. I was excited for the album to begin with. And then when I heard this song, I think it made me even more excited for it. It's a weird single choice for me. It doesn't sound like a single. Like it sounds like it's one of the more like transitional type Mind Crime songs, like a, trying to think of an example, but it doesn't really seem to be like a real catchy hook or anything, but I think it's pretty good. I like what I heard. I think Jeff sounds really good. I don't remember the exact lyric, but I love the fact that he kind of ties it back to the original Mind Crime from the Dr. X perspective. Because he says something along the lines of the word will be whatever the fuck I want it to be.
Right.
Kind of tying back to speak the word. The word is all of us, revolution, whereas Dr. X is like, fuck you, the word is whatever I say it's going to be. And that word is power. I thought that was a pretty cool kind of tie-in, at least in my interpretation of it through a first couple listens. But I'm pumped for the album. I can't wait to hear it. I love the idea of telling the story from Dr. X's perspective as opposed to trying to ram another made up sequel down our throats. It's kind of taking the same story and just showing it from a different perspective. So I think that's a good way to go about it. So yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait for it. So we will absolutely do a first impressions episode of that as soon as it comes out. So can't wait for it. All right. Any other closing thoughts, Mr. Steve, before we hit the road here?
Just everybody, thanks for listening, for tuning in. And once again, thanks for all the well wishes and condolences from everybody. And if you have not checked out this album, if you like metal, kind of supposing that you do if you're listening to this podcast, this is your dad's Queensrÿche for sure. And if you're in the mood for something heavy to get your head kicked in a little bit, give this a spin or a stream. It's well worth the ride. And like we said too, like if you're going to listen to it all, listen to the album after Apology, give it a little break, and then listen to the bonus tracks. Check it out. I enjoyed the hell out of this one.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been trying to get to the gym every day or most every day, trying to get a little more healthy and take some weight off, that sort of thing. And this is a great cardio album. I've been listening to this thing like first thing in the morning at like 6 a.m. on the elliptical, and it really gets you going, keeps your legs moving if you try to keep up with the pace of it. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Rejoice in the Suffering, I hope that this episode will give you the reason to do that. It is well worth your time, and we would love to hear your thoughts on it. So thanks to our callers who called in on the last episode, and we're looking forward to hearing some more feedback on this episode and to get everyone's thoughts on Rejoice in the Suffering. So with that, you've been listening to I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and take a moment to leave us a rating or a review. It really helps others to discover us. It keeps the show growing. We're proud to be part of the TLD Podcast Network, home to a wide variety of great shows, including The Less Desirables, Wheeler's Dog, Beeswax Vinyl Daily, The Asylum Podcast, Fan Interference, Twin City Talk, Motion to Spill, and many more. Be sure to check them out wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us at the TLDpodnetwork.com website. Want to be a part of the show? As we mentioned, give us a call on the TLD Network hotline at 336-422-6862. That's 336-422-NUMB. Leave us a message about this episode, past episodes, or anything on your mind, and you will hear your voice on a future episode. You can also find us online at IRememberNowPodcast.com on social media. We're all over the place. Follow us on Facebook at I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche Podcast. On X, we are at I Remember Now Pod. You can also email us anytime or email your voice notes. Doesn't have to be a phone call. To feedback at IRememberNowPodcast.com. As we've said a bunch of times, we love hearing your thoughts, your ideas, your feedback. So please keep them coming. So until next time, my name is Ray.
And this is Steve.
Thanks again for listening to I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche Podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.
I remember now.